I'd like first to thank all of you for being here tonight with us. I'd like to start this presentation by having a quick introduction of each other. So if everyone could say a little word about why they're here and their expectation in this community project. So if you can say anything relevant in relationship with alternative medicine, alternative technology, or any interest in the community aspect, and if you have any experience in community aspect, that would be great. So I think we can just start by ourselves. So my name is Roman, and this is Kimberly. For those of you who don't know us, I've been very interested in building a community for quite a few years now. I'm going to mute everyone just to be sure that there's no parasite noise. Here we go. And yeah, my background is in law and music, and I worked for the last 5 years in developing different type of skills in healing and advanced esoteric knowledge, alternative technology, alternative methodology of healing. And yeah, I'm very excited to develop something new, a new way of living together. And I designed a plan and made a presentation that I'd like to share with you tonight. So thank you for being here.
I'm yeah, also interested in communities. Roman and I have traveled around mostly New South Wales over the last few years, checking out a few different places and seeing how they work and what their kind of main inspiration is, and they all function very differently, and that was very interesting. But currently I'm working in a primary school in an independent, progressive, alternative school, which is amazing, and I'm a naturopath as well. So, yeah.
Cool. All right, so let's continue with Saf and Lindy.
Okay. Hi, my name is Saf, my wife Lindy. I've been into electronics and security systems and all sorts of things for quite a number of years. I was introduced to this aspect of it through IO, doing her spoon bending course and quantum reading course, and I met Roman, and my life hasn't been the same since. Thank you, Roman. It's opened up a lot of, what do you say, things that I've questioned in the past, but never sort of wanted to realize it. It's always been bugging me in the background. And the minute I started being exposed to all these different modalities and all the different thinking, I knew there was something that I found that was long lost. And then discussing with Roman about the community aspect just really heightened my interest and said, this is amazing. This is what's missing in society. We all seem to be so insular in our thinking and our support system that I feel that having a group of like-minded people to support everyone else in a common cause in thinking will be magnificent. Oh, Lindy?
Well, I've been into natural therapies for some years, and getting to the point now where getting very frustrated with being in Sydney and just the whole energy and the way of being, you know, everything's just rushing around and all that sort of thing. And it's funny, Saf and I were married 31 years ago, and even back then, on our honeymoon, we actually saw this lovely, we stayed at a really lovely place, and it was basically hosting people, you know, on holiday, but it had just a really nice vibe to it. And both of us sort of thought, wouldn't it be nice to have like a community type place to stay and a community kitchen and all that sort of thing. And so we've sort of semi-created something like that here where we live. But in the same token, I get frustrated with the mindset of people in the city, and so for as far as I'm concerned, I would like something with like-minded people and to move to have a much calmer and quieter, but more fulfilling lifestyle.
And thank you, Roman, for
Yeah.
exposing. And Io,
Yes,
thank you.
No worries. Could you just say a little word about your daughters? Like, can you speak a bit on their behalf? Because I think they're quite involved in this community ID for quite a while.
Well, Yasmin, our eldest daughter, is
29.
she's almost 29, and she and her partner are 37 and a half weeks pregnant. So we're about to expect our first grandchild, a grand surprise. And she also is into natural therapies, kinesiology, homeopathy, energetic work, all that sort of thing, similar to me. And she has actually, for many years, drawn up she's drawn a picture of it'll probably be quite similar. I haven't seen Roman's plan yet, but I would say it's actually quite similar. And she's drawn that up quite some time ago. And obviously, just, having a baby now, things will have to be on hold for a little bit, but maybe not.
That's a photo of my two daughters, Yasmin and Kalia.
And our youngest one, Kalia, she's only 14 months younger, but she's also, she's studying early childhood primary teaching. But she's also done done some energetic work, all that sort of thing as well. And I suspect that she would like to be close by to her sister and to us. And whether she gets very frustrated with mainstream society and where it's headed and all that sort of thing. So I think for her too, and her partner, they potentially would be quite interested in this as well. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Who else? Let's continue with Io.
Okay, my name is Io, and I suppose I spent most of my career life, if you like, running around the world setting up libraries. And then I left the official career world, and then I started teaching quantum reading a lot of books in a little bit of time, and quantum spoon bending, which is where I met lovely Saf. And I've been to Damanhur and visited a couple of communities, Esalen and those sort of things, and really was very inspired by, as Lindy said, the energy of that community, the lifestyle, the peace, and vibrancy as well, and lovely food in those communities too. So, and Robert and I have often spoke about, let's get out of the rat race and where do we go and what do we do? So, so I've been interested in this sort of thing for quite a while, and hoping to support you in any way we can, Robert.
Sorry, I was muted. Thank you, Io. Simon.
Oh, hello. Can everyone hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Can anyone see me?
Yeah.
I can even see you, yeah.
Great. Yeah, I'm a real person, see? Yeah, look, my life has been a bit of a journey through personal development like everybody, and coming from, a lineage of, whole food chefs and having a Sicilian background, I found that, one thing that really helped me to gain clarity and gain awareness and take control of myself was through not only food, but the behaviors and the culture that binds us together through things like food, because my family's heritage, they all come from a very tight-knit community living on little islands in the southern parts of Italy. And I found that they were very bonded and they had the same belief systems and they could really support each other. And, after working with food for a while, I went in and started studying natural therapies and different types of behavioral science. And I became a kinesiologist working with, people's behaviors that were based on their belief systems. And I found that 99% of the time I was working with people that had some sort of unsupportive belief system that coming from a fractured community or culture, whether it be through the food that they were fed or the belief systems that were passed down to them through growing up in a community where they felt isolated and they didn't feel supported. So I've always wanted to kind of reignite that, especially seeing the way that community is going at the moment. You know, we're becoming more and more segregated in many ways. And I just see more and more of this detachment from not only people in themselves, but from their families, from the community, from their culture, which is really, you know, we really have to realize that culture and community is what really let us evolve to the space that we are to explore our potential. And that's slowly, well, actually quite quickly being blanketed and taken away from us. So I'd really love to get into a community and not only one, but, you know, just start getting involved in a community so we can start to share this message with people so that people can really explore their potential in a supportive environment, you know, knowing that they are able to support their individual needs, the things that call to them in life, and go from there. I feel like it's the only way forward, to be honest. So yeah, that's why I'm here. And thanks, Roman, for initiating this. I know we've been speaking about this for a long time, and it's nice to see, you know, these seeds starting to sprout. So I'm really happy to be here with everybody. So thanks for having me here.
Thanks for joining us. Thank you very much for that. Tamara.
Hi, everyone. I heard about tonight through a presentation I attended that Margie was giving a couple of weeks ago in Terrigal on Central Coast, and contacted Roman. And Roman told me about his idea, also told me about his sacred arithmetic course. So wow, two birds, two stones. Here I am. My background is pretty unremarkable, ordinary family. Mother was always kind of interested in health and in a freaky kind of way, and turns out that her bloodlines are medical, which I thought was hysterical when I found out earlier this year, because she's been so militant about it. But look, I've always worked in an office. My reality was, you know, stock standard mainstream television. And then end of 2013, I got up one night, turned off the television. I read an amazing book by Brendan Murphy, and my life pivoted at that point. It was a catalyst experience for me. And my experience was that life was a hell of a lot wider and a hell of a lot deeper than I'd initially given it credit for. And I'm so glad, I'm so glad I discovered that. The idea of a conscious community, it's fantastic. I'm not motivated to escape from my current reality with the limitations and kind of the constrictions that it has, but I am motivated to create something. The idea of a community that Roman's described is a thrilling concept. It's something that I would be really motivated to be a part of. I've been in IT for the last 14 years, dying a slow death, and now I'm kind of drifting. So I'm not sure what's going to happen next, but so many things happen in a day, who knows? And I'm really pleased to be here. So thank you all.
Thank you very much. Robin.
Well, I was involved in a fledgling community in the Blue Mountains. It was more of a spiritual retreat centre called Glastonbury. I don't know if anybody's heard of it, but it was sort of started in about 85, 86 and went till around 2000. It had thousands and thousands of visitors over the eons. There was about 400 acres. We had a few caravans and a few shacks, and they all had a wonderful name. Philip's idea, my late husband's idea, was community always, but he wanted more of a spiritual sin to it. He had been involved in the 70s, in the early 80s, in a vision by a woman up in Byron, and there were three aspects to this. The first one was like the health resort I worked in. I've also got a background in natural therapies and homeopathy and kinesiology and the whole thing you go through. But her vision was to have a healing centre, which is a bit like Crystal Lodge where I worked. People would actually live in a community. And the third place was rather like Glastonbury, the spiritual retreat place. There were 3 different aspects to it. It would be nice to bring them all together, but at that time, that's how it was. There were quite a number of communities started up on the north coast in Bellingen and up around, I think it was a place called Bundadgen. Some of them are still going, some of them have fallen in a heap as the original ones sort of got older, and the younger people coming up with the kids left, and they didn't understand the concept. But if it works well, it's brilliant. If it doesn't, it's not a very nice place to live in. So it just depends on the people involved. And as I said to Roman the other night, the benevolent dictator sort of leadership. But everybody wanting to be leaders doesn't work either. There's got to be group consensus on things. But if people have their own roles and get on with it and don't try and compete with each other, I think a community can work very well.
Thank you. So anything about your background, personal background or skills?
Oh, I've been a wanderer. I left Australia at 19, and I've just been reading a book today that I got, a new one that's just been published on the history of Australian air hostesses, and I was one in the 60s. And I'm looking at it a whole different light. You know, this whole group of women who went out there as adventurers and wanderers, and I always say old hosties never die, they just keep travelling. And then you get into getting zapped with the spiritual energy and you're never the same again, and that happened to me in 1980s. Ever since then, I've been on that spiritual journey. My background also as an earth walker, visiting sacred sites, living in Yamba, trying to pretend I'm normal and living an ordinary life is probably what most of us are doing. In the meantime, in between assignments, so to speak, and I do get assignments for travelling around to do things, but life is what we make it, but there again, things happen to us, and it's up to us to open the door to receive them and not close it through fear or thinking we can't manage it. So it's really taking advantage of the things that are offered to us and going with them, really. I'm a lot older, not older than Io, but I'm older than everybody else. Io and I are the matriarchs, really. But look, it's just one hell of a journey, and you've just got to try it and keep going. And I've just been waiting for the shift to happen for quite a while, and let's hope it's nearly here, because I'm ready to be out of here. Okay, that'll do.
Thank you very much. Margie.
Sorry, I was late this evening. Sometimes technology gets the better of me. So with regard to my experience with community life, I had the opportunity to live in community 4.5 years at Jasper's Village Resort up on the Seven Rivers area, mid-north coast. And that was an amazing experience. I think was it Robin who's just said some work and some don't. Well, as a community we worked, but financially it didn't. So it was one of those that folded. But the experience of living in community is something I've yearned for ever since, and that was about I think 8 years ago. So that's why when Roman mentioned that this is something he was thinking about, of course my ears pricked up, because I thought, well, I'm not so sure. I've visited a few and some of them just don't appeal to me, but I like the concept that Roman has is very similar to the lines that Jasper's Village Resort was built around. So when it comes to what I can bring to the party, my experience is in organic gardening, and I feel that's perhaps our most important aspect. If we're living in community, we really need to be self-sufficient. We need to be growing all our own fruit and vegetables. So that's where I can come to the party. And one of my jobs on the other community was the chicken house. So we had, I don't know, two roosters and about 25 chickens, and we had plenty of eggs for all of us. We were 19 at full tilt on the community, from young families with little ones to there were 2 or 3 women older than myself. So we had quite a nice balance of age. We were too many women strong. We had too many women, not enough men. But all in all, it was a great community. So I look forward to seeing where Roman's going to take this little project.
Thank you. And you also mentioned, I forgot to mention your beautiful skill in Tai Chi and Qigong.
Well, yeah, that's a skill. Yes, I am a Qigong teacher, and I'm really excited. I'm teaching online now for the first time, and that's very exciting. So, so even though in community, I mean, I did teach on site, but in those days, teaching online wasn't available. So it's a way of getting, when this community is up and running, is getting the word out to far and wide about how successful our community is. And of course, in natural therapies, I'm a lymphatic drainage specialist, so that's my clinic work. Thanks, Roman.
And massage therapist. We're using weird device that makes weird sounds and vibration.
That's true.
Thank you, Margie. So we have 2 new members coming tonight. So we have PJ and Elaine. So as you were not there before, can you please just introduce yourself and give a little bit of background and what is your interest and experience in relationship with community? So can we start with PJ?
Yep, I'm PJ. I don't have any experience as such with community. It's something I've been toying with the idea of for probably the last 5 years, is setting one up and probably having some close friends or whatever it took, with container units also and stuff like that. But my interest is, I don't know, have a retreat, a healing centre. I'm at the moment a paramedic, which I've been a paramedic for 15 years, but I'm also now, I've had a clinical hypnotherapy business for the past 5 years with another paramedic. So we're business partners. I also do a lot of experimenting and dabbling in sound with voice, pauses, music. So I'm pretty interested in the mind. I do experiment a fair bit, and at the moment I'm running about a 99% success rate with all my hypnotherapy clients, no matter what seems to be the problem with them. And it's through rapport and just being in the bubble with them, intent, and it's a real energetic thing I've come to believe and understand. So my part in it would be, you know, looking at where Romans wants to take this, but I love the healing side of it, and I'm really interested in becoming more of a healer with some Damanhur influence, with the Hermetic principles and everything else that's out there. I've been studying this stuff for a long time, but it's only ever been on the surface, you know. So I've been a jack of all trades, a master of none, so to speak. So I've got a little bit of experience with everything. But I do love the healing and the energetic side of it all. It fascinates me in the mind. So pretty much it, I think. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you very, very, very much. And finally, we have not just Elaine, there's 2 people.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, good. This is the first time I've had an online meeting, so I'm glad you can hear me. So can everyone hear me?
I feel special. I feel so special. Thanks for coming tonight.
Pleasure. Pleasure. So can you shut the door, please? Okay. Thank you. Got to get rid of the husband. Okay, so a bit about...
Bring it on. Like.
Okay, so I'm Elaine, and basically I am a music teacher. I teach in a Steiner school for the past 3 years, and I've been really inspired and had some major personal shifts in terms of the community that I am now a part of within my work. I see, I'm very interested in energetic healing and sound healing, and basically through my craft of teaching, I feel that I do bring a number of well, a number of things beyond just teaching the curriculum. I feel that through movement, a kind of movement called eurythmy, and through my composing and my singing, I have touched on things which to me are amazing. I'm looking at an alternative way to exist on this planet with a group of people who are inspired, who are interested in seeing lights being turned on. That's my job. I turn lights on in children, and in everyone that I meet, I just look for the light. So thank you for having me here, Roman. Thank you for inviting me, and it's a very exciting time for us all.
Thank you. And can you just mention something about your experience or interests in relationship with the community living? Like, can speak about Confess, for example.
Yeah, so I have been lucky enough to go to a beautiful sort of bush environment where I have had a taste of what it means to have a beautiful group of souls with sort of a like-minded commonality, and what it feels like to share. Everyone just sort of brings what they have to offer. Everyone has great respect for everybody, and it's just it's been amazing to be part of a creative environment just for a few days in beautiful nature, and to see what has come out of that. I think one of my most amazing, well, I think it's amazing, compositions that I wrote, for example, was a result of that experience where I just could not believe what came out of being surrounded by people who were there to share and to grow together. So Confest I've been involved with, and the Grove gatherings, which are set in beautiful bush surroundings, very free, very open, very respectful, and very basically like a gardening, like a garden where you plant seeds and you get to see what happens, you get to see what grows. So yeah, I really like this idea of being around people, that synergy, who are interested in looking outside of the box, and who are not afraid of change, and yeah, sharing. So thank you.
All right. Thank you very, very much. There was more people invited, but they must have been delayed or stopped. So thank you all of us for being here and doing this beautiful introduction. So everything has been recorded. So today I would like this presentation to be a kind of brainstorming and exposing a little bit like what I worked on, but this is just the base, this is just the root, so we can like build on it. If anything like disturbs you, if you don't like any idea, like feel free to just like share it at the end. So the whole idea is to start with something and then evolve from there. So I tried to cover as many aspects as I could. It's going to be like a half-an-hour presentation, and then after that we're going to be able to have an open discussion. Everything will be recorded, so in the future, if anyone would like to take the train, they will just have to read and watch again the video and have access to everything that we already said, so we are not wasting our time. Okay? If you'd like to ask any question, please. So we are 9 members tonight, yes. Thank you, Ario. So we are 9 members tonight. If you would like to ask any question during the presentation, please raise your hand. There's a button somewhere on your screen to raise your hand, because I can't see everyone. So I will just receive a notice that someone has a question. So look on your screen somewhere. There's an option to raise your hand, like somewhere. I don't know exactly. All right, so let's start the presentation. Can you all see the screen? Can you see the word presentation on the screen? Yeah. All right, cool. So it's going to start with, what do I desire?
You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. You have to trust in something, your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. Because believing that the dots will connect down the road will give you the confidence to follow your heart, even when it leads you off the well-worn path. And that will make all the difference.
What would you like to do if money were no object? How would you really enjoy spending your life? Well, it's so amazing. As a result of our kind of educational system, crowds of students say, well, we'd like to be painters, we'd like to be poets, we'd like to be writers, but as everybody knows, you can't earn any money that way. Or another person says, well, I'd like to live an out-of-doors life and ride horses. If you say that getting the money is the most important thing, you will spend your life completely wasting your time. You'll be doing things you don't like doing in order to go on living, that is, to go on doing things you don't like doing, which is stupid. Better to have a short life that is full of what you like doing than a long life spent in a miserable way. And after all, if you do really like what you're doing, it doesn't matter what it is, you can eventually you could eventually become a master of it. The only way to become a master of something is to be really with it. And then you'll be able to get a good fee for whatever it is. But it's absolutely stupid to spend your time doing things you don't like in order to go on spending things you don't like, doing things you don't like, and to teach your children to follow in the same track. And so, therefore, it's so important to consider this question: what do I desire?
So what do I desire? So it all started with the realization of the actual state of our civilization. Our current world is based on a few paradigms and the necessary constant need to create value. So those values are material, like physical, house, food. The second one is emotional, social, connection, friendship, relationship, family. The third one is intellectual, needs to constantly process information and learn and grow. And the fourth one is spiritual, something bigger than ourselves, something higher than ourselves. And all that should be manifested through the artistic creativity aspect, which is the natural state of happiness and joy. So how the world is organized is through two elements, the carrot and the stick. So we've been programmed to believe that the system, the way it is the best, and there's nothing that we can do. And that the modern lifestyle that we are having now is the best that we can expect. So the carrot is defined as happiness and freedom. And basically happiness is reduced to the necessity to possess. So should actually be happy to possess things. And freedom is reduced to being able to choose our own jail. So get a job, go to work, get married, have children, follow fashion, act normal, walk on pavement, watch TV, obey the law, save for your old age. And now repeat after me, I am free. So this is the carrot. And the stick has been defined by the notion of rarity and competition. So rarity is a fundamental illusion that we all have to bind on to believe that there's not enough for everyone, actually justify the notion of competition. Just by observing a little bit nature, we know that there's tremendous amount of abundance and we just need to organize ourselves a little bit to be able to have access to all that. But the easier path is to like follow the money, follow the educational system, don't ask any question, and just have a miserable life. So I came to the realization that all of these are distractions, and they're getting stronger and stronger and more powerful today. So weapon of mass destruction, we have like media, fashion, we have money, we have labor, work, and all those distractions are actually separating us from the real purpose. But there's a bigger plan behind, like some people are actually orchestrating all this for us. And thanks to George Carlin, he explained it pretty well.
The reason for this is the reason education sucks, and it's the same reason that it will never, ever, ever be fixed. It's never going to get any better. Don't look for it. Be happy with what you got. Because the owners of this country don't want that. I'm talking about the real owners now. The big, the wealthy, the real owners, the big wealthy business interests that control things and make all the important decisions. Forget the politicians. They're irrelevant. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets, and they own all the big all the big media companies. So they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They got you by the balls. They spend billions of dollars every year lobbying to get what they want. Well, we know what they want. They want more for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. That's against their interest. That's right. You know something? They don't want people who are smart enough to sit around the kitchen table and figure out how badly they're getting fucked by a system that threw them overboard 30 fucking years ago. They don't want that. You know what they want? They want obedient workers. Obedient workers. People who are just smart enough to run the machines and do the paperwork, and just dumb enough to passively accept all these increasingly shittier jobs with the lower pay, the longer hours, the reduced benefits, the end of overtime, and the vanishing pension that disappears the minute you go to collect it. And now they're coming for your Social Security money. They want your fucking retirement money. They want it back, so they can give it to their criminal friends on Wall Street. And you know something? They'll get it. They'll get it all from you sooner or later, because they own this fucking place. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. You and I are not in the big club. And by the way, it's the same big club they use to beat you over the head with all day long, when they tell you what to believe. All day long, beating you over the head in their media, telling you what to believe, what to think, and what to buy. The table is tilted, folks. The game is rigged. And nobody seems to notice. Nobody seems to care. Good, honest, hard-working people, white collar, blue collar, doesn't matter what color shirt you have on. Good, honest, hard-working people continue. These are people of modest means. Continue to elect these rich cocksuckers who don't give a fuck about them. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't care about you at all. At all. At all. Man, you know? And nobody seems to notice, nobody seems to care. That's what the owners count on, the fact that Americans will probably remain willfully ignorant of the big red, white, and blue dick that's being jammed up their assholes every day. Because the owners of this country know the truth. It's called the American dream, because you have to be asleep to believe it.
So sorry for the language, but it was quite clear. So the rule of the game is that the game is rigged. And as Albert Einstein said, you have to learn the rule of the game, and then you have to play better than anyone else. So what are we doing now? So we have the option to reinvent the wheel, or we can be inspired. And how to get inspired? Today we have a beautiful tool called Internet that will allow us to get inspired as we need to. So what is the actual problem? The actual problem is that today we are individual people surrounded by the world, and we are looking for outside solution to ourselves, where the solution is actually to actually come inside of ourselves and find solution inside of it. So basically extending our network and bring everything that we can in this reality. So the actual problem is happiness through possession, freedom through slavery, motivation by rarity, and meaning through competition. So we're going to solve this problem with solutions. So we're going to replace happiness through possession by happiness through creation, freedom through slavery with freedom through sharing, motivation by rarity with motivation by abundance, and meaning by competition through meaning with collaboration. So what is the project? The project is a sustainable eco-village, a community business center, an alternative healing center, a spiritual network center, an advanced technological research center, a progressive education center, and a creative and artistic center. The whole idea is to be able to fulfill every aspect of the human being, of the human psychic. And we have to do this here in Australia. So let's start with the housing system. So how are you going to build those this place? So the different options are, the first one is yurt. So for those of you who are not familiar with yurts, so yurts look like this. This is the traditional Mongolian yurts. The beauty of it is that they can easily be integrated into nature. And the inside is remarkably large and beautiful. Like, it's all based on curve. There's no straight line. It's very open to the sky, really the natural circulation of air with naturally cooling down the temperature in summer. And if you're putting a fan at the top of it, it will naturally bring back the heat, and very good insulation as well. Aesthetically, it's remarkable and very modulable. Like, we can install a lot of different options, and they can be small and big size. So the pro and the con. So the pro is that it's natural integration, sustainable, cheap, removable, adaptable, recyclable, quickly assembled. We can assemble a yurt in one day. Can be made with recyclable materials. The negative aspect is that they are not bushfire proofed, and there is a bad sound insulation, which is not an issue in my perspective. And there's weak resistance to heavy storms, but it all depends on the way they're made. Like, they can also be made in heavier materials. So to give you an example of how quickly a yurt can be done, like with 4 men and 7 hours. That's how quickly it is. So you start with a door, with the wall, the doors, the windows, the roof. Have to connect everything. Ah, sorry. And at the end, you just put the final insulation. So you can put different layers of insulation to have a better insulation. So the beauty of the yurt is that they can be very quickly made, and they don't really need a lot of material, and they are very cheap. A yurt like the one that you just saw only costs, I think, less than $10,000 if we have to buy it from an Australian company. Okay, without the equipment inside, but it's very, very cheap. The second possibility are called earthships. So earthship actually look like this. So they are recycled material based. Again, very spacious, very bright. It's all used with recyclable material, recyclable material, and they're pretty solid. Like, this is very, very solid housing. So the advantage are it's sustainable. It's very, very cheap because it's using entirely recyclable material. adaptable, recyclable, high resistance to bad weather, and entirely made with recycled materials. The negative aspect is that they require lots of works, not too much. They require like about 3 weeks to a month to build an airship. And the negative aspect is maybe the bunker-like aesthetic, and that doesn't really suit a lot of people. So this is a quick video that will show you how we build them. So we basically use wheels, recycled tails, tires, and we are building, putting like earth all around it, using a little bit of material. So we have to fill the tires with earth, and after that we can put the water recycling system. Then we can put like the different level and the different stages with concrete. Like this is the indoor, this is the introduction, and then you have the roof. So as I told you, like this is a little bit more complicated. So they're using like cans, they're recycling cans, they're recycling plastic bottles, they're recycling glass bottles. It's basically entirely made with recycling material. And that's how they use like plastic bottles or glass bottles to make the walls. And on the top of that, you can also put like a garden on the top and solar panels in front. And also a very nice advantage is that you can duplicate the system. So it's actually quite easy to make a bigger house just by duplicating the system. So doubling, tripling the surface, so you can create like bigger space. So as I said, it's a very solid surface, doesn't require much material because everything is recycled, but it takes quite a lot of time and energy to achieve that. So maybe in the second stage, that could be a solution for the future. Oh, sorry, do it again. Okay, so now let's have a look to the food aspect. So how can we produce the equivalent of $100,000 worth per year with just a quarter of an acre? So a lot of technology and techniques has been developed over the last few years to allow people to produce huge amount of food with very, very little amount of space. And one of them is called the microfarming. So microfarming can actually produce the equivalent of like that size with very little equipment and very little work and space. The tools who are used have been developed by engineers. So you can see on the top left, this method can actually help you to plant a tremendous amount of plants very easily. And the bottom one has been designed to actually harvest like lettuce without having to cut them. So it's actually showed that a lot of people are actually trying to find solutions to avoid having to spend huge amount of money in big machinery. If you look at the top left, you'll see like how clever this machine is. Just costs like a couple of $100 and saves quite a lot of time to plant a lot of plants. The one below is also very interesting because it just works with a driller. It's just a driller, and save quite a lot of time without having to take the salad from the ground.
It used to take us 3 people 2 hours to do the harvest of our salad greens in the morning, and when we got the harvester, I would do the same job in 40 minutes. It was a 200% improvement on the labor time. It's the kind of appropriate technology that we need for small-scale micro-farming.
Anybody who's ever cut mesclun by hand is going to love this gadget. Look at the ease with which it goes. And not only that, when you have a taller crop like this, which we all end up with at some point, you can cut it at any height you want, even though you're mechanized the whole time you're doing it. One person with this can replace 3 or 4 hand cutters very, very easily.
It will give a cleaner cut than a knife or scissors. It's just an incredible tool in the tool chest of a small farmer. It truly has put baby greens back in the list of profitable crops for a small farm.
It's going to put us back in the baby leaf salad business.
So in terms of other tools, so on the top left you see, and again, a very cheap and easy to make machine that can return the soil without having to go through it. And on the bottom left, you again have a new machine that can do the job of mixing, blending, creating mulch, returning the soil.
Fantastic machine.
And it won't cost that much money.
Mulch right down. Amazing. So now I'm going to till this in, and that's the beauty with the flail mower, is that it mulches it all up so that when you till it, you won't get all these long strands getting stuck in your tiller. I used to just rototill cover crops right in, which was obviously a mistake, but if you're going to seriously do cover crops, the flail mower is a great tool to have for your BCS.
See how quickly you can mix the mulch?
Machine. Get this beautiful soil, little just chunks of organics in there, and it's great because by mowing it and mulching it like that, it's just going to reduce the chance of it growing back, which is, well, you don't want that, right? You don't want your crop in here. But I'm not going to plant these beds immediately. I'll probably just put a tarp on them or some landscape fabric or something and let them sit for a couple weeks until I plant it out, just in case. I don't want to get too much stuff coming back, but for this way our sun.
And we also naturally like creating lines, which you then can easily be used to produce simple to do big surface. Okay, so this is an accelerated version of how they operate. So they very use little amount of machinery. So one person is able to control the whole aspect, produce huge amount of food. This little tool will return the soil. All right, so yeah, all those techniques are just showing us how quickly we can become food efficient and even sell food to restaurants and business around. So after the food in the house, we have the energy aspect. And just to give you an example, so a 400 wind turbine plus 1,500 watts poly solar panels give you a 3 kilowatts amount of energy roughly for a few hours without the battery, and would just cost $2,500 delivered in 3 days. So with this, you can have enough energy to power TV, computers. I don't think we really have much TV, but computers, telephone, light, and that should be enough. Just with a few solar panels, inverter, and the wind turbine. And you just have to add a few batteries to be able to run 7/7. Like the wind turbine should normally be able to take care of the fridge during the night. But yeah, like the price has dropped down quite a lot. And what used to cost like thousands of dollars only just now costs $2.5. And it's delivered in 3 days. So it's in Australian stock. So this is for the electricity. For the light, for the hot water, there's different options. You have a solar hot water system, which are quite expensive. But the cheapest option is actually to use something that is easy to set up, works with a water pump, easy to adjust, variable flow, and it's called an instant LPG hot water system. We experimented last time we've been overseas. They only cost $150 and they just run on LPG and they work pretty well. Like they produce a good 40 to 50 degrees water instantly and they run 100% on LPG. So now we're going into the LPG production, so natural gas, biogas. LPG production can be used by using recycling material.
Anaerobic biodigester for a twofold purpose. The first being methane gas production, which is a natural biogas that can help fuel cooking and also to power a backup electric generator. The second benefit is that it produces an effluent which will be great fertilizer for an organic garden. It's very nitrogen rich and nutritious. So the way that this works is quite simple. We started off with a manure and water base, which will get the correct bacteria going. After about 4 weeks' time, we will start adding once a week our kitchen waste, so scraps of vegetables and fruits just straight into the biodigester, and then seal it off again. This will produce a methane gas, like I said, which will start coming up out through this tubing that we've made, which is airtight, of course. And right now it is going to this inner tube for storage. So it's just going straight into there for storage. If I were to open up this valve, then that would go into this water filtration system. So the methane gas could flow through this tubing and be filtered in the water, and then methane gas comes out a little bit more purified on this side for the cooking and the generator and things like that.
So basically this technology that you see on the top, so on the top bottom is a homemade one, top left is a professional one, top right is a homemade one. The top left is a biogas, just costs $800. And same, you just put your organic waste, you can also put your poo, and this produce LPG gas for hot water system and for cooking. Okay, there's many different ways to do it by yourself for free, or we can just start with a few of them that are not that expensive. So the LPG will allow us to like cook, heat. We can also like use it for cars who would drive on LPG, and yeah, like just with a compressor and a few LPG bottle, we can store the gas for later. Okay, this is an example of someone.
A horizontal 500-liter biodigester tank.
Show you how to make a bigger version. So this is the digester here. Then the gas goes into. So this is the soil that will be extracted. So this soil can be reused in the garden. Then it goes into this pipe here to be filtered. And then goes into this big tank to be stored. This is another way to operate, and you can store big quantity into those containers. Okay, and then you can directly use it into your cooking and produce exactly the same flame as this is a petroleum LPG, and this is biogas LPG. All right. And to finish, so we have to look at the social organization, the social aspect. So for that, there's a few examples. So we're going to start with Oroville.
Whenever you hear a story about a spiritual commune of people dedicated to financial equality, personal harmony, and human unity, it usually ends with the words, "There were no survivors." But far from being a cult, the experimental town of Oroville in India is still thriving to this day. Founded in 1968 by Mira Alfalza, also known as the Mother, this settlement in Tamil Nadu state contains over 2,000 people, each of whom abides by no rules, exchanges no money, and only works for the benefit of the community. Visitors are charged a guest fee, but those who wish to stay are allowed to regardless of race or religion. Only 50% of the town are ethnic Indians, with the rest comprised of 40 different nationalities, most of whom are European. Auroville's diversity is epitomized by its grand central temple called the Matrimandir, a spectacular golden dome open to public and locals for worshiping whoever they want. So is this place a prime example of how perfect humanity society could be if we all just got along? Yeah, I guess so.
So Auroville is a great way to start, except that it's not too much organized around business structure and bringing value. It's more an alternative lifestyle, which can suit in India, but I'm not entirely sure that it would suit into the Australian lifestyle. So something that could suit a bit better is Damanhur community. So for those of you who are not very familiar with it, I'm going to give you a quick introduction. So the Federation of Damanhur, often called simply Damanhur, is a commune, eco-village and spiritual community situated in the Piedmont region of northern Italy, about 50 kilometers north of the city of Turin. The community has its own constitution and currency, the credito. Damanhur is named after the Egyptian city of Damanhur, which was the site of a temple dedicated to Horus. Damanhur is a federation of spiritual communities with its own constitution, culture, art, music, currency, school, and uses of science and technology. Its citizens are open to sharing their knowledge and research with other groups and culture of the world, with anyone who is interested in exploring these themes. Damanhur holds events in numerous centers, organizations, and point of outreach in many cities around the world, and also hosts thousands of visitors each year who participate in tours, seminars, retreats, and courses through Damanhur University. The community has attracted interest from scholars, educators, and researchers in the field of art, social science, spirituality, medicine, and alternative health, economics, and environmental sustainability. Damanhur was founded in 1975 from the inspiration of Falco. His enlightenment and pragmatic vision created a fertile reality based on solidarity, sharing, love, and respect for the environment. As a result, Damanhur has slowly expanded into a United Nations award-winning sustainable eco-community. Oh, Simon is back. The Federation of Damanhur has centers in Europe, America, and Japan. And Kimberly and I are following their teaching since the last eight months now. So we are in the online university and introduced to their secrets and the knowledge, which is fascinating, by the way. So Damanhur gained fame in 1992 through the disclosure of their secret excavation of an extensive underground temple, the Temple of Humankind, which has begun in 1978 under complete secrecy. They started with 24 followers, and by 2017, the number has grown to 1,200 on site. Today, there are more than 10,000 Damanhur citizens in the world.
Okay, so you would not expect this is the way to get inside the temple. It's like, here we are, and it looks like we're just in maybe like almost like a hotel. It's just sitting on top of the mountain, and just randomly the entrance is just this. It's like a complete secret. We're going in. Okay. Just remember what you've seen, and now look at how it's gonna be. Like, we just came from the mountains. It's like this hidden way going down, and look at it. Just, you wouldn't expect this. This is like a movie, I swear. This will be like the most craziest movie opportunity I've ever had. You wouldn't even expect this. Right. Here we go. Oh, man. This is crazy. What the hell? I don't even know where to start.
highest point, spiritual achievement and most technological.
Community lies, like how we can bring people together through art.
Time travel.
Here's another interesting. He does look like a guy from Attack on Titans, if you guys know. Over here, he represents duality, and he's lifting up the curtain to pretty much welcome us into the first hall we were into, which is the Hall of Victory, which is also just the Hall of Materials as well. And this hall, if I already said it, is the Hall of Earth. It represents the spiritual aspect of our planet. Whew. Here's another interesting thing. Here's the lunar forces, which is the moon. Over here is green representing Earth, the surface. The sun. And over here represents the center of our planet, which is like lava, the core, the fire. In general, in any way. Everywhere I go, I'm like, what's next? Where am I going to be next? Because like you just end up in this whole new freaking dream world. Look at this, the penguins. Don't forget, everyone, we are inside of a mountain. Don't forget that.
This is the Hall of the Labyrinth.
Step downstairs and then just look. This is what we walked through. And this hall is sick. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, just look. It's awesome. So as you walk through the hall, each stained glass represents a god, someone's religion. And that's what the Hall of the Labyrinth is about. It's about bringing everyone together, that all their beliefs, and putting it into one hall. Like here's the hall, and here's the stained glass of Allah. And I guess in his religion you don't show his face, so they showed this. And here's the Egyptian god. They take a right. You can see more gods. There's Tangri. And these are gods that I've never seen or anything like that. Anyways, you keep going, and here you go, look at just more gods and more gods. It's really cool. Still, these little creatures on the floor, I love it. There's so many of them. Look, I can just drop the camera down and just show you them. We don't have to see the real gods on the stained glass. Well, look at this one. So one thing that's cool, I can't even show you this no matter what, but on the other side of this is another hall. It's forbidden to be shown. I cannot show you no matter what. And there you have it, boys and girls. We're just going wherever we're going. Yeah?
So here in this hall there is a secret passage. You have to find it by your own.
Me. I can already get the idea.
Probably you can find it.
Wait.
Try and push. Go a little bit more than that.
Oh my god! Oh, yo, you scared me. You scared me. Dude.
There is another secret passage. Now
Yeah,
look to this Egyptian figures. We were used to hide our secret passages behind Egyptian figures. So
Like the pyramids too, like how they were set up. Completely mysterious. Dude, that's sick. This is cool. This is cool. You don't know what you can expect here. Everything's crazy. Everything is insane here. And everywhere you go is just a maze. None of you all have seen stuff like this. But we have to meet back up with the group just because of timing and stuff. But hey guys.
Hey. Bro, did you see the secret passageways?
No, I mean, I've seen some of them, but I don't know what the pens. I don't think they showed me. Did you guys show me the ones that you showed them?
I think the one.
Hall of Water is probably one of the most important halls, and that's because the founder of this place came 600 years in the future, back, and written in 12 different languages on the walls how to keep people together, how to keep people from splitting off, like pretty much how to save humanity right here. I can't. This whole wall is covered with different languages on pretty much how to save humanity. We're going in the room of spares now. This is the one I've wanted to go into because it reminds me of a wizard Harry Potter hallway.
So anyway, I wanted to share with you this because for the people who've never been in Damanhur, like realizing what they've done and proving to humanity that when humanity comes together with no help from outside, with no fund from government, they actually build everything by themselves. And what they did is completely remarkable. And I only show you the spiritual aspect. What they did on the physical aspect, economical aspect is completely mind-blowing. And I believe that we should use the experience as a way to succeed in the creation of a community in Australia. By the way, the reason why we joined the Damanhur group a few months ago is because they are looking for opening the Damanhur energy in Australia and bring their knowledge here. So if the community agree with that, we can then open our arms to their knowledge and wisdom and learn from them. So the constitution, the Damanhur constitution began with three bodies of Damanhur: the school of meditation, which is the ritual tradition, the social theory and social realization, and the game of life, which is the experimentation and dynamics of life as a game change. And the fourth body has been recently added as the technarchate, individual inner refinement. Citizens participate in one of several ways depending on their personal nature. The way of the oracle, the way of the monk, the way of the knight, the way of health, the way of the work, the way of art and work, and many others. Most citizens live in a house of 10 to 20 people each, federated together into the Federation of Damanhur. And this is the kind of knowledge that you can have access to. So spiritual vision, research and experimentation, create sustainability, live community, share experience, and art and creativity. So basically the success into the production of a material abundance, because they are 100% sustainable. They produce 100% of their electricity and food. Sustainable emotional connection, more than 10,000 citizens all over the world. Intellectual knowledge, you can learn from every age, basically. You will always expand your understanding. And spiritual aspects also, they have a very rich spiritual connection and deep understanding of the nature of reality. And all that is manifested through the artistic creation. So what is the next step now? So I designed something that could be the blueprint to start, and I'd like to share it with you. So how do I do that? Okay, so I'm going to share. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see a portal?
A gate.
A gate?
You could call it the portal.
Yes? No?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay, cool. So this is what I designed. So you can see the yurts, fountains, the place. So this is the permaculture gardens. So each house is fully autonomous. They have their own water recyclable, they have their own LPG production, they have their own hot water system. And this is what you can see inside. So I don't think we need to have such a complex kitchen, but just to give you an idea, so this is the main yurt, main place. And then you can have, we can have the bathrooms. Cabinets, a tiny bedroom eventually, an office here, or it could be another bedroom with double beds, and a main bedroom here, master bedroom. So it's quite a big space. I quoted a big house like this that can have up to 5 people, a family of 5 people. The yurt will cost less than $60,000. So this could be also the place for a few couples who would like to share the same place. But each individual yurt can also be the place for a single person who would like to have her own private space. So with just a simple kitchen and bathroom and just a studio, like a studio version. The cost will be like very cheap as well, and it's very easy to build, quick to build. This is the main community center. So in the community center, you can have a share kitchen, the classroom, working place, playing place. It could be a place of meeting and music, event, conference, talks, exhibition. Could attract quite a lot of people from the world and come to do event in the place. This main community center could also be the place for big music event, because it could hold like a few hundred people inside the community. Every house are connected. There's fountains all over the place for watering the garden. So the place needs to be connected to a spring water source. And we can have a lot of different facilities like a sports place in the future, with pool, with yoga, with sports equipment, and even sauna if we wanted to. Here we go. I know that Simons is a big fan of sauna, so happy. We can also have an industrial space here to transform material, like if we want to have businesses like hemp production and hemp transformation. This could provide work for the whole community and can be directly transformed on the land. It could be also a sports place where everyone can like find whatever they want. Basically, the whole idea is to fulfill each aspect of the human needs, and yeah, being able to share a space in which everyone will be the best version of themselves. So if I show you the aerial view, so the whole design has been made following sacred geometry. So I believe that this will also interest some people because aesthetically this could attract quite a lot of interest. So it's a combination of flower of life and tree of life, because all the passage actually represent the motion of energy going back into the center, and all that space here is only I think it was only 500-meter diameter. So it's a half a kilometer diameter, including all this area here that could be used for having animals like cows and sheep and chickens, and a lot of that space can also be used for growing hemp, doing big hemp production that can then be transformed and sell, because now we are allowed to consume hemp as a protein, or we can use it to make clothing. Yeah. So here we go. That's what I've made so far. What we need now to do is let me go back to the presentation. So what we need now to do is we need people first. That's going to be a good start. And in terms of skill and competency, so that's what I so far registered. So I don't know if it's going to be enough, if we're going to need more than that. But basically we'll need some builders, plumber, electrician, woodworker, soldering workers, gardeners, cookers, teachers, doctor, healers, nurse, marketing, web designers, media developers, business developers, and investors. So I'd like to create an Excel spreadsheet on Gmail to allow everyone to fill the form and basically put some cross on whatever they can participate in. If you have like crossing competency and skills, and yeah, we need to see how much money can we raise. The whole idea then is to make a big conference to expose this idea to more and more people, attracting more and more people, raising more funds, doing crowdfunding, and see what this project, who this project resonates with, and start from there. So thank you, and yeah, now if you have any question. Margie, yes?
That was a fabulous presentation. Gave me a much deeper understanding of Damanhur. It's all that stuff underground where it showed. Was that already there and they discovered it on the land?
They built it.
They built everything.
Oh, they built all of that?
They built everything in 40 years, yeah. And the first 20 years were completely hidden even from the government. They didn't even say anything to the government because the Vatican would never have let this happen. But when the government came and saw what they did, they actually couldn't stop it. It was already there. So now it has been recognized by the United Nations as one of the most precious, I don't know, like whatever, like they has been recognized internationally for what they did. And like what you saw is very impressive, but if you were there, like you will not believe what you saw. Like they just show maybe like 30% of the full thing. You just saw like 30% of it. There's another 70% of things who are just mind-boggling.
Have you lived on it, or you just visited?
We just visited for a few days, yeah.
Okay.
Just visited for a few days.
I like the concept of this community being based on a successful community like that. I like that idea very much.
It's a community that basically fulfills each aspect of the human body, which actually integrate things that we can't naturally have access to today, like the spiritual aspect, the energetic connection to like whatever they do, like the practice of meditation and love is pretty remarkable. It's very, very impressive. It's not just talks.
Mm.
So yeah, like anyone would like to comment or say something? Can you move your camera down, like guys? I can't see you, Seth.
Sorry, Roman. One of the first things that sort of comes to mind is what we discussed before. Having someone in town planning with town planning skills,
Yeah.
and being able to talk to councils and sway council into approving a lot of land that we can do this on.
Yeah, so that's a very important point, because if we're looking for a cheap place, we're going to have to pay a lot of money for the approbation by the council. So the idea of finding a cheap place is maybe not the best option. The best option is really to find a way to raise awareness to this project and attract investors, like people who would like to help us to bring this this project. And you know, when you have money, like the council, like will not be that much of an issue. Like we're gonna easily be able to find the right place. So I'm not that much like concerned about this, because this is not a crazy project. It's a project that is sustainable, that is based on rational thinking. It's basically offering to the people who live in big cities the opportunity to operate the business from a different place. Like it's not a hippie place. It's not a place just to relax and enjoy life. It's of course a place where we are going to enjoy life, but the whole idea, and this is the real message of Damanhur, is that when people work and they work together, they can do incredible things, especially when they are driven by something bigger than themselves. So the whole idea is to have a place in which people will be so happy, and every aspect of their existence will be so fulfilled that they will not have the choice but to drop down their ego and really put themselves for the service of the community. And yeah, and if for that the people have to find the best expression of themselves, if for that they have to make businesses who's going to run and work, and the community will help everyone to transcend the limits by helping them to yeah, become the best version of themselves, how this can succeed. Okay, so we just need, like now, the few founders. We need people who are really motivated to do something with their life, because the whole idea is to find a meaning in your existence. Because right now the system doesn't require you to have a meaning to do whatever you do, where if you really want to transcend this paradigm, we need to find a meaning. And this meaning could be what Damanhur did, which is transdimensional. It's going way beyond the notion of space and time, and I really believe that this is where humanity has to go. So, yep. Simon, I'm sure you have a lot of things to share.
Am I? Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, sorry about that. I was kind of cutting in and out. I just kept dropping out of reception, so I've been running around the retreat here, just getting the right reception. So, but I caught the end of it and the start, so it was really good. Look, mate, you've done a great job. It's fantastic. I think my questions are, yeah, you know, what's the next step? Obviously, we need to find out logistically how possible this is to do. So, obviously, you know, town planning. You know, the legal side of things before we get too far ahead of ourselves. There's always loopholes for things, I know that, with the way you present them and what you're actually applying for with DAs and stuff. So I think it's important to get somebody who actually knows, you know, town planning, legal, real estate, these kind of things, that understand the laws and know what the reality of it is. And then I guess, you know, I think crowdfunding is a great way to go, or maybe not. I'm not sure. There's plenty of ways to do this, I think. Plenty of ways. I think the grass could be a little greener if I was to add anything. I'm joking. Joking. But yeah, look, I mean, I think it's great. I think the whole idea is great, and that's important that the philosophy binds everybody. And yeah, where to from here?
Yeah, the whole idea is to now use all our network, finding like all the skills, all the network that we can have, and just bring attention. So what I'm suggesting, if you're happy with that, is to organize meetings, maybe not every week, every fortnight. So we can do this Saturday and trying to bring more people. So this meeting will be recorded. So every new people will have to watch this meeting to know what's the plan and if it fits their belief, and if they just want to help without wanting to live into it, that's okay. The whole idea is really to tap into our network. Like today we are at least connected to 1,000 people, and if each of those 1,000 people are connected to 1,000 people, we have access potentially to 1 million people. So that's something that we need to realize. Like we just need to speak about it, speak about this project, get enthusiastic, sharing the idea, and just like if we need someone, I'm sure, and I already know that Saf and Lindsay know someone that is specialized in cancel approval and de-approval and all that. So we already in our network have the key element that will help us to bring this. So what I did is just this presentation to give a direction and to get people excited. And now what I need is people who will be willing to move forwards. So Robin wanted to say, and then something, and then Ayo and Elaine.
Back in the 90s, when we were looking at community, there was a real problem with the New South Wales government and the councils with multiple occupancy. And it didn't matter how big the property was, you could only have one major dwelling on it. I think they've got around that, like retirement villages where people own their dwelling, but they don't own the land, which would need to be maybe owned by a company, which would then sell the space or rent the space to someone to build a house or who bought their house. So the multiple occupancy thing, I don't think such an issue now, and I'm sure that's easily overcome.
Hello.
All right. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we were talking about this before, weren't we, Roman? Saying that for instance, if the foundation, the community itself could be a business that people invest into, and maybe not specifically own the land, but they pay some sort of rental fee for being on there. And if for some reason in the future they wanted to leave, they own shares in that business, so they can sell them off or do what they need to do. But I think there's lots of different ways around that. And of course, people have lots of land these days. And Brad, you said Brad was doing some stuff with this, wasn't he? He was buying large blocks of land and subdividing them. Is that right?
Yep.
So there's no reason we can't subdivide this land in a certain way to meet requirements. Obviously, we'll to look into all of that, but I think there's lots of ways to do it.
Yeah. So I haven't come into this aspect tonight. So yeah, indeed, the whole idea is to have a kind of business holding that will basically hold the whole pool of money that will be injected into the community. Some people will have to work for the community, like the gardeners, the teachers, the cookers will work for the community, and the community will pay them to be on the land and do the work. And some people will work outside of the community and bring income to the community. Everyone will have to pay a certain amount of money per week. That will depend on the size of the house, depend on the amount of people, like families, couples, singles people, like with kids. So the money will vary, depend on how many people live there. But the community will provide food, house, and the whole living together. So that's how Damanhur operates actually. Like everyone have to pay a monthly fee to Damanhur. As soon as they are citizen, and on the top of that, so this monthly fee is a minimum of X amount of money. So depend if you are single, couple with family, and it has to be at least 33% of what the company business is producing. So whatever profit is generated. So everyone reinject money into the community, but everyone also hold shares of the community. So every time that we are putting back money into the pool, basically our shares are increasing. So there's no real lose, like it's a constant win-win situation. So basically, instead of giving the money to the government as business are used to do it, and the government just sped in to like make war to countries that we never really sign up with, we're going to give this money to the community to be sure that the money will stay and it will just benefit all of us. And indeed, if someone wants to leave the community, then they will just have to sell back their shares, and the people around will be able to buy it back from them. Okay, so this is an idea. It will obviously evolve, but this is a point to start. Io, yes.
What I can't understand is why is everybody running in all sorts of directions with things when really we know that mentalism is the thing. So I would have thought the first thing is to focus on a vision, a community vision that we all believe in or agree on, and then meditate and create that instead of running around to councils and things. Things will just come if we just sit and hold the space and hold the energy. I mean, it's a very famous example about this Maharaji something or the other in Massachusetts. It's got a huge city of peace. And when he scoped his dreams, everybody said, but Maharaji, where will the money come from? And he said, it will come from wherever it is at the moment. We just have to focus on our vision. So I can't understand why we're speaking about all the other stuff when we really need to just sit and visualize and then see what happens. Am I being silly?
The reason why we have to hold a space and act, it's because that's how it operates. Holding the space is the beginning. But if you hold a space without acting, without sharing, without moving, without doing, then you go back into the false god of the new age movement, which is like just hold the space and sit under the tree and wait, which it doesn't happen. The idea is to hold the space, but then act towards it. So the whole idea to have a fortnight event and bring people is that indeed by holding the space and bringing people, like we gonna find a solution.
Yeah, but you know, we start off by talking about things and doing. Why don't we start off by meditating and visualizing?
And that's what we just did tonight. By all coming together and focusing our attention to something, that's what we did. We did this meditation, we did this visualization, and it was an active visualization because it was based on interacting. So now if you want, and if all of us want on a day-to-day basis, projecting our thoughts to manifesting this, that will come even faster indeed, but it will come through our action and through the meeting of the people that we're going to meet. Elaine is jumping all over the place. Yes, Elaine.
Thank you. I really strongly believe, support and agree with the lady that's just been speaking. I'm sorry, I don't know your name. But Ayo, right. I feel a very strong sense of needing to process all of this information and allowing it to settle, and to then work from, to then the action and the will come. I don't feel you can rush this. I feel that we need to have not fortnightly meetings via technology. I feel quite disconnected. I feel we need to meet face to face, and we need to spend some quality human time connecting. It's about connections. And I think if we can get a strong core together and have those human connections first, and just allow that vision to form, because really, I'm assuming this is your vision and you're sharing it with us, but it needs to transform and it needs to change so that, as you say, each person who is interested and who wishes to climb on board feels they are part of that center core. And there needs to be space and time to allow that, and then it will it will just explode. If you rush it and you're all running around like Ayoho said, I'm already feeling stressed. Do you know what I'm saying? And I agree, we don't need to sit under a tree and meditate for, 50,000 weeks, and wait for an answer. But I seriously feel that what Ayoho, sorry if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly, said, she's hitting the nail on the head. So that's just what I wanted to say.
Okay, so anyone suggest something? Because I organized this meeting tonight and it was already pretty hard to bring people online. So like, I'm just realistic, like bringing people from all over Australia, like we have people from the Blue Mountains, people from Orange, people who's going to be in Port Macquarie. Like, I understand that ideally it would be better if humanly we could be present, but I can tell you that all the people who are here tonight wouldn't come tonight if it was in a physical place. So I'm just being realistic by saying this.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I hear you and I agree with you, and I think that we just need to have that opportunity. I think that using the technology to our advantage and having those meetings is a fantastic way to connect. But I think I think we should at least put the invitation there to have a meeting face to face with whoever can get there, because if that will add strength to the core group.
Yeah.
Thank you. And it doesn't have to be at your place, we can go out to the bush, or we can find somewhere, and whoever's going to turn up is going to turn up. Maybe it's 2 people. Maybe that's all it needs to create a spark in a particular direction. I think we need to be open to, to that.
I'm definitely open. The fortnight event online is an easy way to connect. But then if we want once a month to meet somewhere and physically connect, like, I'd be more than happy to do it.
Awesome.
Saf, you wanted to say something?
I was going to say, if we need somewhere to meet, like, the place here, we use it for Qigong meetings and all the different meetings here. So we've got plenty of space here. Happy to offer it if that's what you want to do, or if that needs to happen. So the invitation is there.
Thank you, Saf. So Saf lives in Barara, which is just outside of Sydney, like just after Hornsby. So that indeed could be a good space. Like, they have a very big lounge place. It's close to Central Coast, close to Sydney, so that could be a nice place to start. Yeah. Someone else raised their hand. Someone else wanted to say something. Yeah, Margie.
I just wanted to come in on what was said previously with Elaine and Iana Laua. How do you say that name?
Is it Io or Elaine's?
Io.
Io. Yes.
Io. For some people, it might be just new, and one needs to assimilate the information, and that's anybody who comes in at any level. It is going to be new, and they will need to assimilate all the stuff that Roman has said. But for myself, it's already there, because I've lived with it for so long. And I think with Roman, he's also lived with it for so long. So it's really important to get the people, the 3 other guests that I know were coming for whatever reason couldn't come. I know they are interested. So I think it is important. Perhaps they couldn't make it tonight, but they might be able to make it next time. So I think the connection like that needs to be ongoing, just to keep the ball rolling, to see who is interested. And it doesn't have to be a monthly meeting at a set time at a set place. But I think it will just develop, and it will grow as the right people are attracted to it through the energy that we create individually. Because I'm sure Aya and Alana, you've got people that you would like to introduce the project to. So in maybe 2 weeks' time or a month's time, when Roman has a second meeting, those people might be able to go through the first process of going over the meeting. They've hear everything that's discussed, and when we pick up, your guests will be on the same page as you already. Does it make sense? Anyway, just a thought.
Yeah, thank you, Margie. I'm a very pragmatic person, you know, like what I share with you tonight is the last 5 years research that I have conducted. Like, it's not just coming from there. I actually also like work on many other thoughts, but I didn't want to overwhelm you with like free energy and like building production and stuff. Like, the project is already quite big. As Margie said, people who already did this work, who are already aware of what is necessary. I don't have all the answers, but I know where to look at. YouTube, Google, Damanhur, like all those points are places where we can have answers. And we have a lot of people who have experience. So as I already said, I'm a very pragmatic person. And today, the most important things is to get people interested. Then indeed, of course, we're going to have to meet, we're going to have to spend time together, but it was already pretty hard to bring 9 people together tonight. And like, look, Simon going back couldn't even be there because he's right now working in a retreat. So not everyone is available on Saturday night. Not everyone is free to be a part of this. And internet is a good way to start. It's maybe not the optimum way to manifest the way we want it to happen, but it's a good way to start. And as Margie said, next time when the people come, you have a 2 hours video that you can send them. They can start to digest, they can start to think about it. So when they come, they will already come with questions and things to share. So it's a very good way to save time and move forwards. But of course, one day or another, we're going to have to come together. And maybe next time, maybe they're going to be like 10 of us in one place, and some other people who's going to connect online, and it's going to be a part of this this meeting. I don't know, like that could be the next step.
Me. Let's create a Facebook group, not a chat, but like a group, and we can upload this video and we can put up information about the in-person meetups and about the regular Zoom chats, and just have a space where we can come to as a point of reference to refer new people to, and create like a continual dialogue. If you have an idea, you can just pop it on and share it with everybody straight away, or you have a question, pop it on and anybody can answer. Like, it's just a good way for us all to remain connected and not have to wait till this fortnightly or monthly connection.
Yeah. So that's something that can be done very quickly. Elaine first and Saf after.
Yep. Can you hear me? I just wanted to say, Kimberly, I think that's a really great idea. I think that's like a compromise. That's going to create more connections, and you're not restrained to, hold on to your ideas and then, have to come to the online meeting. It's like when it comes, you can get it out. People can respond immediately. That's like a central hub. I think that's a fantastic idea.
By the way, I already created it 5 years ago. Already created Facebook group. Yeah, it was called Eco-Sustainable.
Oh no, that was different. It's similar, different.
Yeah, I already but I put it, every ideas that I got about like permaculture and everything was, I was systematically put it there. But I believe that it wasn't ready yet. Now it's ready. So yeah, so we can create another one. We can reuse this one.
A new one that's just specific to this idea.
Yeah, and it could be a good way to start and connect everyone except Robin, because I think Robin is the only one who's not on Facebook. But maybe that would be a good opportunity to go in Facebook, actually.
I'm involved with it.
Sorry, what?
I said I actually do have a Facebook account, but I just choose not to use it much. So what is your call sign, so to speak, for your Facebook?
Oh, we're going to create a new one.
Yeah, if you have any idea of how we can call this this project.
I'm serious.
You could,
that's
if you have any,
that's your name. But so you need to find out our Facebook names, I suppose. Is that it?
And I will require some help. Like it could be an Aboriginal version of Damanhur.
What does Damanhur mean? The word?
I don't know. Yes, Seth?
I came across a software that actually helps everyone contribute towards a project they're building. So everyone's registered and so it's one central point, everyone comes up with ideas like it's, I've got to do a little bit more research on that software, but it's a great thing. If you have ideas about this project, you can say, okay, this is my input, and then you follow track and you just keep pace with what's something tangible that you can keep pace. Apart from Facebook, I'll get the details of it and find out and liaise with you on that one. Right? At the moment, I just label this group the town planners. Just a generic.
Tamara said, is it Trello? Is it Trello? Does it? Is the name of the software is Trello?
I can't remember the name, but we can research that one. If you can take notes of that one, we can just have a look at it. But it's a great little software that everyone can chip into and give ideas.
Yeah,
and
Facebook is a good way to start. Facebook is a good way. It's easy. It's very practical. We can put like an online like Excel spreadsheet, and people can just like add information on it, putting names. The whole idea is to have this meeting every 2 weeks, so we can like update everyone about whatever ID or information is coming on board. But yeah, the Facebook can be the way to connect people on a day-to-day basis, yeah, or any other software. Ayo, yes?
Damanhur means city of light.
Here we go. So we need now to have the translation in Aboriginal now.
Well, it depends what area the land would be in, so that be that language.
So speaking about the land, Damanhur created a map with lines called synchronic line, and those synchronic lines are connecting, like there are specific lines who are connecting the whole world in a specific way. And one of those synchronic lines is actually going between Sydney and Central Coast, and Sydney and Newcastle. So it's actually crossing the Central Coast through the Blue Mountains. So like all those areas can actually be chosen as a place to start the community, which is actually very interesting because the whole idea is to be able to do business with Newcastle and Sydney and attract people from those areas. So if we could find a space like in that area, that would be great for many different things. PJ, do you want to say something?
I was just looking up some Aboriginal, because whatever land we do come onto, we need to respect the elders and the ancients. So that will be a big part of it also, because wherever we go will no doubt be sacred, most like Australia is. So I guess we'll find a fair bit of respect in there with a word that will encompass everything, the coming together of everyone.
Can you make a research for next meeting about like which name could actually fit, and that could be the first project. It could be a first name, and maybe can evolve later. Like I don't know, like just having something that will carry the vibration of this house of light.
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay, Elaine and Tamara.
So I just wanted to say that I know some people, my parents know them pretty well actually, have a property out at Wollombi, which set in a beautiful bush surrounding. It's very basic. There's hardly any structures on there. He basically hand built some African style huts in round circles. But I think that if people were keen at any stage to meet there, it might be a really lovely venue just to relax, unwind, and get out of the city and the concrete walls, and just get into nature to meet. So I'm just saying that that's a possibility that I might be able to offer the group. Yeah.
Sounds great.
Thank you.
Could be like a long weekend. You mean like something like a long weekend?
Yeah, or even just drive up. It's about an hour and a half, maybe an hour to an hour and a half drive from Sydney. So we could have lunch there, spend the whole day, or a day and a night, or we could camp there for a couple of nights, a long weekend. So I'm sure that would be fine.
Cool. Thanks for the offer. Thank you very much. Tamara first, and PJ.
Yes, I just wanted to contribute to the housing. I think, Roman, we had a conversation a couple of weeks ago about an Australian man who's developed domes, and they're based on sacred geometry, and they're prefab, so they come as a kit. They're really quick to put together, and obviously they're Australian, so that's good. And he's come up with a composite material that has no metal in it, but is made from a composite of volcanic rock. So the structure is actually very, very sound, and they're fireproof and stormproof, and they've been approved as a building structure. And he's based in Byron, so that's certainly something worthwhile to look at. And the way he's structured his business as well is that you can kind of become a distributor by building one, and then from that point on you can get the kits obviously wholesale, so that would be an option as well. And you have set sizes, like an 8 meter square, and I think it's a 6, and then like a 3, so you can have the modules actually joining in with each other, and you can set them out any way you like and put the doors and windows anywhere you like. They're quite beautiful, so that would be something to look at instead of a yurt, because I've heard the yurts, they leak and all sorts of stuff, but you raise the cons as well, being that they're not fireproof and stormproof. And
do you have any idea of pricing for this type of building?
Depending on the size, anywhere between kind of like 10 to 50,000.
So 10 for a simple version, like a simple small one, and
yes.
That would be interesting to post it on the Facebook group, and maybe organizing an event where this guy can actually join us.
Absolutely,
and propose the project, because maybe if he would like to make an even bigger discount than the wholesale price, then we could advertise his work as a part of the. So that could be a great way for him to, because could buy this
as part of the investment, it could be that the company or a subset of the company becomes kind of a distributor, because one of the prerequisites or commitments is that you have one that people can come and look at. Mm-hmm. So that would work really beautifully with your concept.
Yeah.
People can come in and look at that, and then they can contact our group to do the same thing somewhere else. So.
Perfect. So please send us information about it. That would be the first things to look at, and if it's fireproof and all this, that would make even the work of the council even easier. So
yes, he's done all that hard work. That's why it was so compelling to me.
Beautiful. Anything else you wanted to share?
I had a few thoughts, but they've gone now, so I'll add them to the group.
Cool. PJ?
There's also a thing called hempcrete. I don't know if anyone's heard of hempcrete. So it's a combination of the concrete and the hemp, which is fire resistant, insect resistant, soundproof. It's brilliant. But they teach it in Queensland somewhere. You can become you can learn how to do it, and then you can build your own structures with it.
I know someone who did the training, and I invited him to come tonight, but he didn't show up. But the whole idea to grow hemp on site is also like to use the hemp to make hempcrete, so we can build our own housing with the hempcrete.
Yeah. And also the lady, sorry I didn't know your name, whose parents, where are they at? Wollombi. Is that near where the Wallamai pine was? It sort of backs onto between Lithgow and Mudgee, but it's over the ranges. Is that where that is?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
No, it's not there. It is, you drive out of Sydney up north and I don't know if you know Pete's Ridge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not far from Pete's Ridge. So it's before Newcastle. Yeah, it's a cultural centre. It's a very beautiful little town with a little general store and a pub, and it's a centre of creativity. There are artists in that area. There are Aboriginal. There are caves with Aboriginal, artworks there. It's a very, very rich cultural centre, but it's very small. It's kind of hidden, and it's almost like you if you don't know about it, you wouldn't get there. It's not on the main drag kind of thing.
What's it called again?
Wollombi, WOLLOMBI.
I'm pretty sure that's one of the places we saw, Roman, that was close to the synchronic line. I'm pretty sure that's where one of the places.
It's close to the synchronic line. Yes.
Yeah.
How many acres is it?
40.
Oh, that's a good number.
One of the areas. That's one of the areas.
Can you explain what you're saying? What's it close to? Yes, you.
Yeah, so the synchronic,
synchronic line.
Synchronic. Okay, which is what?
The synchronic line, I explained a bit earlier, is the line that has been drawn by Damanhur, who are connecting, they are lines who are allowing manifestation of things, basically.
Wow.
So they build a temple on the synchronic line. We can buy a place that would be close to the synchronic line. We can connect directly to the energy of Damanhur through the synchronic line.
Awesome.
It's like a bloodline of the body. It's a sort of like a bloodline and energy line of the earth, but it's not a ley line.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's like a main artery.
Okay, so if you googled Paynes Crossing, Paynes, Paynes Crossing, it's pretty close to that.
Okay, well that's pretty close to where those maps were the other day, Roman, that we had a look at.
Yeah, so I'm just going to show you quickly what they look at, what they look like.
You could probably jump it straight in there.
So you can see like here, so this synchronic line here. So this is synchrotron here. So the synchronic line are going up to, do you remember, PJ, what's the name?
Yes, it's called Turon. It's called Turon, and it's between Bathurst and Mudgee on the back roads.
Yeah, and then the synchronic line is turning around, I don't know, and crossing between Sydney and Newcastle. Newcastle is here, and Sydney is here. So the synchronic line is going there. So Pete's Ridge must be roughly here.
Uh-huh.
So it's actually exactly on the synchronic line.
Yeah, it's very, very close.
So you see those synchronic lines are crossing all over Australia, and they're crossing like Uluru, and and one of them, like a few of them, are actually crossing ley lines. So like when you have the ley lines and the synchronic line at the same time, it is pretty powerful. And there's a ley line coming from there and crossing the Central Coast. So I wouldn't be surprised that in that area here, we will have ley lines and synchronic line together.
Okay, thank you.
All right, anyone else would like to share something?
Roman, can we get a closer shot of the map that's more detailed? Because after we spoke, I did a search on the synchronic lines and I saw that map too, and I was like, oh, I just can't zoom in close enough.
No, you can't. You can't zoom in. I had to do a manipulation on Google Map to do it. So
Yeah.
now it's on Google Map, but yeah, you can't really zoom in. Like it's
Maybe you could take a screenshot of your Google Map and put that on the Facebook group.
yeah, I can try, but it's not really clear. And I asked Damanhur to send me a more precise version, and they didn't do it. So
Do you know why not? They're just busy, or they're holding it close to their chest?
Just busy, and they're not really, you know, that they're always they're not really like there, here now. Like they're always like future, past. Like those people are doing time traveling. They're doing astral projection. Their level of existence is going way beyond ours. So it's sometimes a bit hard to get on track with them.
That's come on. That's a pretty lame excuse. Actually, not to send it to us. Sorry, I'm busy time traveling.
Robin, you wanted to say something?
I do have a map of the synchronic lines that I got when I was there. I'm not quite sure where it is, but I'll have a look and try and dig it out and scan it and send it to you. I was there in '99, and judging by that movie that video you showed us, they've done an awful lot more work in the last 20 years. But it was still pretty awesome. And I think I had the best meditation I've ever had in my entire life in the Hall of the Spheres. It was extraordinary. So, and that was really not long after it had become outed. It's sort of like it was outed because somebody blackmailed them. And said, if you don't give me a certain amount of money, I'm going to tell the world. And they said, okay, we're ready for you to tell the world, so go out and tell it. But if you would like me to find that, I'll see if I can and scan it and send it to you.
Yeah, great. Maybe it would be quicker from you than from them.
Yeah. Well, it might be out of date, but I shouldn't. I know that two blokes came out to Australia and mapped it, and it's when they went around the entire world. It was Falco and Peter, and they went around the world looking for the perfect place, and they found it in their own backyard, you know, like in Italy.
All right, thank you all very much for your attention. Okay, so I'm just gonna put this meeting for in a fortnight, so into Saturday. I'm going to create this Facebook group and upload the video on YouTube, so you're going to be able to share it with whoever you feel would be interested. And yeah, like if people want to join to the next course, the only thing they have to do is to watch the previous month. So every time, like, people are up to date, and we are not repeating and repeating and repeating. Like, we just have the best version of the knowledge, and then yeah, we can like organize a physical meeting to Elaine's place or to Saf's place, which are not far away from each other. Like Berara, Berara could be a good way to start, and then organizing a day event a little bit further away. That would be amazing as well. So thank you all very much. I'm going to stop the recording.